In the dusty landscape of ancient Moab, where survival hung by a thread and women's lives were tethered to the fragile hope of male protection, a story of extraordinary courage was about to unfold. The wind whispered across barren fields, carrying with it the dust of generational struggles and unspoken dreams of those who existed on society's periphery. Naomi's family had been devastated by loss. Famine had first stolen their homeland's comfort. Then death had stripped away her husband and sons, leaving her a foreigner in a foreign land, broken and seemingly forgotten. Her daughters-in-law, Orpah and Ruth, represented the raw vulnerability of women in a world that offered no guarantees, no safety nets, no merciful glances. When Naomi decided to return to Bethlehem, her homeland, she understood the harsh reality of her circumstances. Two young widows, one a Moabite, Ruth, would face unprecedented challenges. Cultural boundaries were not mere lines on a map, but impenetrable walls of rejection, prejudice, and potential destitution. Every step would be a negotiation with uncertainty, every breath a testament to survival. Ruth's decision to accompany Naomi was not just a personal choice, but a profound declaration of loyalty that defied every social and cultural expectation. She was choosing uncertainty over familiar comfort, potential rejection over safe return, a path of radical faith over predictable survival. Her words, "Where you go, I will go," were more than a promise. They were a revolutionary act of commitment that would challenge the very foundations of her society's rigid structures. The journey from Moab to Bethlehem was not merely a geographical transition, but a metaphorical crossing of impossible boundaries. Imagine a young woman walking alongside her aging mother-in-law, carrying nothing but hope, facing a community that would likely view her as an outsider, a foreigner, potentially a threat. Each step represented a confrontation with fear, with the paralyzing possibility of complete rejection. What drives a person to choose such a path? What inner strength propels someone to walk into complete unknown, leaving behind everything familiar? Ruth's journey was not just about physical movement, but a profound spiritual and emotional transformation. A raw, unfiltered exploration of faith that transcended cultural limitations and personal fears. The landscape around them, harsh, unforgiving, filled with rocky terrain and unpredictable challenges, mirrored the internal landscape of uncertainty that Ruth navigated. Her story was about to become a testament to how radical faith can transform seemingly impossible situations, how individual courage can rewrite communal narratives. As they approached Bethlehem, the weight of possibility hung in the air: rejection, survival, hope, despair, all intertwined in a delicate dance of human experience. Ruth could not have known then how her singular decision would become a narrative of hope for generations, a powerful reminder that belonging is not about where you come from, but about the courage with which you choose your path. The fields of Bethlehem stretched before Ruth like an unwritten promise, golden wheat swaying with potential and mystery. Her status as a foreigner was not merely a geographical distinction, but a deep social wound. Invisible barriers surrounded her, whispering exclusion more loudly than any spoken rejection. Survival here would demand more than physical resilience. It would require an extraordinary navigation of unspoken cultural currents. Gleaning represented the most precarious form of social welfare in ancient agricultural societies. Landowners could choose compassion or cruelty, and workers like Ruth existed perpetually on the razor's edge of acceptance and dismissal. Every handful of grain collected was more than sustenance. It was a fragile negotiation of dignity, a silent plea for communal mercy. Poverty's landscape demanded strategic vulnerability. Ruth understood that survival required simultaneously being visible enough to work and invisible enough not to threaten existing social hierarchies. Her movements would be calculated, humble yet confident, desperate yet dignified. Each step in the wheat fields was a delicate dance of survival and self-preservation. Cultural integration demanded more than physical labor. It required emotional intelligence and profound adaptability. Ruth would need to decode unspoken social rules, interpret subtle gestures, and position herself strategically within a community that initially viewed her as an outsider. Her foreignness was both her greatest vulnerability and her most unexpected strength. Economic marginalization transformed every interaction into a potential lifeline. A single moment of kindness could determine whether she and Naomi would survive or perish. The wheat fields were not just agricultural spaces, but complex social ecosystems where power dynamics played out through seemingly mundane interactions of labor and generosity. Her strategy was neither passive submission nor aggressive confrontation, but a nuanced approach of respectful persistence. Ruth understood that true belonging was not demanded but carefully, incrementally earned, through consistent integrity, hard work, and an unwavering commitment to familial loyalty that transcended cultural boundaries. Underlying her practical survival strategies was a profound spiritual resilience. Each grain collected represented more than physical nourishment. It was a tangible manifestation of faith, a belief that divine providence could transform seemingly impossible circumstances through human cooperation and unexpected grace. The morning sun cast long shadows across Bethlehem's wheat fields, revealing the intricate social choreography of labor and survival. Boaz, a prominent landowner, moved among his workers with measured grace, his keen eyes scanning the landscape. Unlike many of his contemporaries, he practiced a nuanced form of compassion deeply rooted in cultural and spiritual traditions of care for the marginalized. Unwritten rules governed these harvesting spaces, complex social algorithms determining who could glean, where, and under what conditions. Ruth's presence represented a delicate disruption to these established patterns. Her foreignness was not just a geographical distinction, but a lived experience of systemic vulnerability, where each interaction could determine survival or exclusion. Peripheral vision became her most critical survival skill. Ruth understood that acceptance emerged not through dramatic declarations, but through consistent, quiet dignity. Her movements were deliberate yet unobtrusive, gathering wheat fragments with methodical precision, aware that every collected grain represented more than sustenance. Each handful symbolized resilience, a silent negotiation of her right to exist within this unfamiliar community. Generational wisdom whispered through her actions. Her mother-in-law Naomi had subtly prepared her for this moment, teaching her not just practical gleaning techniques, but the nuanced social navigation required of women without traditional protection. These lessons transcended simple survival strategies. They were intricate maps of cultural adaptation, passed through unspoken understanding between women who had weathered profound loss. Economic margins demanded strategic invisibility balanced with strategic visibility. Ruth moved with a calculated grace that simultaneously honored workplace hierarchies while maintaining her essential human dignity. Her foreignness, initially perceived as a liability, gradually transformed into an unexpected source of strength, her difference creating a compelling narrative of unexpected belonging. Peripheral communities often develop extraordinary resilience born from perpetual uncertainty. Ruth embodied this principle, her marginal status becoming a wellspring of innovative survival strategies. She didn't merely adapt to existing systems. She subtly reimagined them, introducing alternative models of community interaction that challenged prevailing social constructs. Workers around her represented microcosms of broader societal dynamics, some suspicious, some indifferent, some quietly compassionate. Each glance, each subtle interaction became a negotiation of potential belonging. Ruth's presence challenged fundamental assumptions about community boundaries, demonstrating how authentic human connection could transcend cultural and economic divisions. Her story wasn't just about individual survival, but about reimagining collective possibilities. In these wheat fields, economic practice merged with spiritual principle, transforming mundane labor into a profound statement about human interdependence. Every collected grain represented more than physical nourishment. It was a testament to hope's quiet, persistent power. Divine orchestration often reveals itself through the most unexpected intersections of human vulnerability and providential design. Whispers of destiny rarely announce themselves with thunderous proclamations. Instead, they emerge through subtle, almost imperceptible moments of seemingly random connection, intricate threads weaving themselves into magnificent tapestries beyond immediate comprehension. Boaz's initial encounter with Ruth represented more than a chance agricultural interaction. His reputation preceded him, a man of substantial means who consistently chose compassion over transactional righteousness. Cultural norms would have permitted him to ignore the foreign woman gleaning at the edges of his field, yet something profound stirred within his perception. Compassionate observation transcended mere charitable impulse. Boaz had heard Ruth's backstory, her remarkable commitment to Naomi, her courageous journey from Moab, her willingness to embrace vulnerability in a society that systematically marginalized foreign women. Her narrative resonated with deeper spiritual frequencies, challenging conventional social boundaries. Intricate power dynamics played out silently within those wheat fields. Ruth's gleaning represented more than survival strategy. It became a profound statement of dignity. Each deliberately measured movement communicated resilience, a quiet defiance against systemic exclusion. Her methodology revealed extraordinary inner strength, navigating marginalization without bitterness, maintaining personal integrity amid potential rejection. Societal margins frequently become unexpected laboratories of human transformation. Ruth occupied a liminal space, simultaneously invisible yet increasingly visible, powerless yet progressively empowered. Her presence disrupted comfortable assumptions about belonging, challenging ingrained prejudices through consistent, humble excellence. Community integration demanded multi-layered strategic navigation. Beyond physical labor, Ruth practiced sophisticated emotional intelligence, reading unspoken social cues, understanding hierarchical nuances, positioning herself respectfully yet confidently. Her approach transformed potential hostility into gradual acceptance, revealing how genuine character could ultimately transcend cultural boundaries. Unwritten relational algorithms governed these interactions. Survival required more than physical endurance. It necessitated emotional agility, spiritual fortitude, and an almost prophetic understanding of human connection. Ruth embodied this complex negotiation, her foreignness becoming simultaneously her greatest vulnerability and most unexpected source of strength. Proximity to potential kindness demanded extraordinary discernment. Ruth understood that acceptance emerged through consistent demonstration of character rather than dramatic declarations. Her gleaning represented a nuanced performance, simultaneously humble and dignified, strategic yet authentically vulnerable. Witnessing her approach, Boaz recognized something transcendent. This was not merely a worker in his fields, but a living testament to remarkable human resilience. Someone whose very existence challenged conventional narratives about worth, belonging, and divine purpose. Her story was unfolding not through grand gestures, but through quiet, persistent faithfulness. Beneath the scorching Judean sun, social expectations crystallized like salt on parched earth. Marginalization wasn't merely a circumstance for women like Ruth. It was an intricate system of invisible barriers, more impenetrable than stone walls. Her gleaning represented a delicate negotiation. Survival demanded strategic vulnerability, a dance of calculated movements that balanced desperation with profound dignity. Economic precarity transformed every interaction into a potential lifeline. The wheat fields weren't just agricultural spaces, but complex social ecosystems where power dynamics played out through seemingly mundane labor exchanges. Ruth's foreign status meant each interaction carried heightened risk. A misinterpreted gesture could mean immediate dismissal, potential violence, complete social exclusion. Survival required extraordinary perceptual acuity. She decoded microsocial signals with remarkable precision: a landowner's peripheral glance, workers' subtle body language, unspoken hierarchical tensions. Her movements communicated simultaneous humility and quiet determination, never aggressive, yet radiantly confident in her fundamental human worth. Systemic vulnerability demanded innovative resilience. Traditional protective structures, family networks, male guardianship, had disintegrated around Ruth. She was constructing alternative survival strategies, reimagining community participation through persistent, principled action. Each collected wheat fragment represented more than sustenance. It was a tactile declaration of her right to exist, to contribute, to belong. Cultural integration emerged through nuanced performance. Ruth understood that acceptance wasn't demanded but carefully earned through consistent integrity. Her approach transcended mere adaptation. She was quietly rewriting social algorithms, introducing alternative models of human interaction that challenged prevailing exclusionary practices. Peripheral communities frequently develop extraordinary adaptive capacities born from perpetual uncertainty. Ruth embodied this principle, her marginal status becoming a wellspring of innovative navigation. She didn't simply conform to existing systems, but subtly expanded their boundaries, demonstrating how genuine human connection could dissolve seemingly impermeable social barriers. Spiritual resilience underscored her practical survival strategies. Beyond immediate economic needs, Ruth was enacting a profound philosophical statement about human dignity. Her gleaning represented a living theology, each collected grain a testament to hope's quiet, persistent power, a metaphysical resistance against systemic dehumanization. Navigating these complex terrains required more than physical endurance. Ruth practiced sophisticated emotional intelligence, reading unspoken cultural currents with remarkable sensitivity. Her foreignness, initially perceived as vulnerability, gradually transformed into an unexpected source of strength, her difference creating a compelling narrative of unexpected belonging. The societal architecture of ancient agricultural communities operated through intricate, almost invisible networks of reciprocal relationships. Within these complex systems, women like Ruth existed at precarious intersections of survival and social permission. Her gleaning represented more than economic necessity. It was a profound negotiation of human dignity amid systemic constraints that perpetually threatened marginalization. Survival demanded extraordinary psychological resilience. Ruth's strategy transcended mere physical labor, revealing a nuanced understanding of social dynamics that required constant recalibration. She navigated workplace hierarchies with remarkable emotional intelligence, reading subtle atmospheric shifts, interpreting unspoken cultural signals, positioning herself simultaneously as humble worker and dignified human being. Peripheral communities develop unique adaptive mechanisms born from persistent uncertainty. Ruth embodied this principle through her capacity to transform potential rejection into unexpected opportunity. Her approach wasn't confrontational, but strategically collaborative, creating social spaces where her difference became an asset rather than a liability. She understood that true integration emerges not through demanding recognition, but through consistent, principled engagement. Unwritten relational algorithms governed these interactions. Acceptance required more than technical competence. It necessitated a profound emotional literacy that could decode complex interpersonal landscapes. Ruth's movements communicated simultaneous vulnerability and quiet strength. Never aggressive, yet radiantly confident in her fundamental human worth. Cultural translation became her most sophisticated survival skill. Beyond language barriers, she was negotiating entire systems of meaning, reimagining community participation through persistent, principled action. Each wheat fragment collected represented more than sustenance. It was a tactile declaration of belonging, a subtle resistance against systemic exclusionary practices. Marginalization frequently creates unexpected reservoirs of innovation. Ruth's foreign status, initially perceived as a limitation, became a lens through which alternative social possibilities could be perceived. She wasn't merely adapting to existing structures, but subtly expanding their boundaries, demonstrating how genuine human connection could dissolve seemingly impermeable social barriers. Spiritual fortitude underscored her practical navigation. Her gleaning wasn't just an economic strategy, but a living philosophy of hope. Each deliberately collected grain a testament to persistent human dignity. She transformed potential victimhood into a powerful narrative of resilience, challenging fundamental assumptions about worth, belonging, and divine purpose. The wheat fields became her classroom of complex social negotiation. Here, economic practice merged with deeper principles of human interdependence. Ruth's presence disrupted comfortable assumptions, revealing how authentic character could ultimately transcend cultural boundaries, transforming marginalization into unexpected opportunity. Reflecting on this journey reveals a profound tapestry of human experience, where vulnerability transforms into unexpected strength, and marginalization becomes the very crucible of extraordinary transformation. The intricate dance between individual resilience and divine providence emerges not as a linear progression, but as a complex, interconnected landscape of human potential. Imagine a symphony where each seemingly discordant note, each moment of uncertainty, each experience of rejection, gradually reveals itself as an essential component of a larger, more magnificent composition. Ruth's narrative transcends a simple story of survival. It becomes a profound meditation on the alchemy of human spirit, where pain can be transmuted into purpose and isolation can birth unprecedented connection. The boundaries we perceive as impenetrable, cultural, economic, social, reveal themselves as malleable constructs, waiting to be reimagined by those courageous enough to challenge their very foundation. Her journey illuminates how true belonging isn't granted, but carefully, persistently cultivated through authentic presence, unwavering integrity, and a radical commitment to human dignity that defies traditional categorizations. Beneath the surface of individual struggle lies a deeper current of collective transformation. Each moment of personal navigation becomes a potential gateway for broader systemic reimagining. The margins are not merely spaces of limitation, but extraordinary laboratories of human innovation, where constraints paradoxically become catalysts for unprecedented creativity and resilience. What emerges is not a narrative of triumph over adversity, but a more nuanced exploration of how adversity itself can be a sophisticated teacher, sculpting human potential through its seemingly harsh, unforgiving terrain. The very experiences society might view as impediments become, in the hands of a resilient spirit, the raw materials for constructing entirely new paradigms of existence. Divine orchestration reveals itself not through dramatic interventions, but through the subtle, almost imperceptible moments of human choice. Those precise instances where vulnerability meets courage, where individual agency intersects with a larger, more mysterious design. The sacred frequently manifests not in grand gestures, but in the quiet, persistent movements of those willing to step beyond familiar boundaries. As we approach the narrative's culmination, something profound crystallizes, a recognition that our most transformative journeys often begin at the exact point where our perceived limitations intersect with our most radical acts of faith. The story becomes less about Ruth alone, and more about the universal human capacity to reimagine possibility, to transform seemingly insurmountable challenges into unexpected pathways of hope and belonging. In the grand tapestry of human experience, Ruth's journey emerges not merely as a historical narrative, but as a timeless testament to the transformative power of unwavering faith and radical compassion. Her story transcends the dusty wheat fields of Bethlehem, speaking directly to the universal human experience of navigating uncertainty, challenging societal boundaries, and discovering profound belonging in the most unexpected spaces. What emerges is a powerful revelation. Our most significant transformations often occur at the intersection of vulnerability and courage. Ruth's path demonstrates that true resilience isn't about avoiding marginalization, but about maintaining dignity and hope precisely within those challenging terrains. Her journey reveals how personal transformation can become a catalyst for broader societal reimagining, challenging deeply ingrained systems of exclusion and limitation. The narrative invites us to recognize that our perceived vulnerabilities, our differences, our losses, our moments of profound uncertainty, are not weaknesses to be hidden, but extraordinary sources of strength waiting to be understood. Each challenge becomes an opportunity for reimagining possibility, each moment of potential rejection an invitation to demonstrate extraordinary character. Divine providence operates not through dramatic interventions, but through the subtle, persistent movements of individuals willing to step beyond familiar boundaries. Ruth's story illuminates how authentic human connection can dissolve seemingly impenetrable social barriers, transforming marginalization into unexpected opportunity. Her journey becomes a profound metaphor for how individual resilience can reshape collective understanding. In a world that frequently categorizes and constrains, Ruth's narrative offers a radical alternative, a model of belonging that transcends cultural, economic, and social limitations. Her approach wasn't about demanding recognition, but about consistently demonstrating character, dignity, and an unwavering commitment to human connection. As we reflect on her journey, we're invited to examine our own landscapes of uncertainty. Where are the wheat fields of our personal experience? Where do we stand at the margins, collecting fragments of hope? The story challenges us to see our challenges not as barriers, but as potential pathways of transformation, to recognize that our most profound growth often emerges from our most vulnerable moments. Ultimately, Ruth's journey is a testament to hope's quiet, persistent power. It reminds us that belonging isn't something granted, but carefully, courageously cultivated. In a world that often seeks to define and divide, her story stands as a powerful reminder. Our truest identity emerges not from where we come from, but from the radical compassion and integrity with which we choose to move forward.